मनोभीष्टम् येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरो वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवम् श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे करोति वाचालं स्तब्धभाषितं पंगुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरु दीनतारणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम् विश्वनाथ रूपोऽसौ भक्तिवर्त्म प्रदर्शनात् भक्त चक्रवर्ती चक्रवर्ती आख्या भवत् he is called Vishwanath. Asau, this personality is called Vishwanath because he is Vishwasyanath. He is the Lord of the Vish. Why? Because Bhakti Vartma Pradarshanat. He shows the path of Bhakti. The path of Jnana is neti or merging into liberation, merging into the Supreme Lord. And there the real auspiciousness does not dawn. Auspiciousness dawns, it's still great than the material Ananda, which is Jadananda, but it's not complete because Lord is not only Brahman, he is Bhagwan also. And Karma Kanda doesn't give the full joy, or it helps realize the soul, its true potential of relationship with Krishna, because one is just bothered about mujhe kya milega. But Bhakti, the path, helps one cultivate the real relationship with Krishna, which is actually a real relationship, and in it only rests the true final refuge of the soul. And that's why Vishwanath, he's showing the path of Bhakti, hence is Vishwanath. Why it's called Chakravarti? Because he always stays in the chakra of devotees. Chakravarti, he stays Varti Tattvat in the Bhakti chakra, never goes out of the association. That's such a lesson for us. And it is this personality whose book we are studying, Mādhurya Kādambinī. We didn't discuss yesterday. Kādambinī means a cloud bank, a bank of clouds. Mādhurya means sweetness. So it's a cloud bank of sweetness. Sweetness to do what? To help us go forward in our spiritual lives. And that's why the chapters of this book are named as showers. Because it's a cloud bank of nectar. What it will give? Showers. So Prathama Vrishti, Dvitiya Vrishti. Vrishti means showers. So that's how the chapters are there. We are studying aniṣthitā-bhajan-kriyā, or we can say something before anartha nivritti. We explained yesterday that anartha nivritti doesn't mean ho gaya. No, it just extends. Major of the anarthas get crushed or crumbled or pulverized or destroyed in the anartha nivritti stage, but then there are other anarthas also. Only till the prema, we can say last traces get dissolved. But in the higher stages, although there's a potential, but we don't see the gross anarthas. Again, this is a deeper topic we may not study here. But just to tell, before that stage of anartha nivritti, where the gross sinful activities are destroyed, that's called aniṣthitā-bhajan-kriyā. Because those, whatever we call it, untoward things or unwelcoming things in our heart, they just really stop us to perform bhakti in a very sustainable way. After that, it is nishtita. Nishtita means determined. Ab hila nahi sakta. Generally, it's not shakeable. Like you have fallen into love, basically. So, aniṣthitā-bhajan-kriyā, it's explaining us. Now you can say, Prabhu, like I've gone past anartha nivritti. No. That's a very tall order. We should not make claim. And hence, understanding these is important, because even if we have gone up, sometimes we just come back also. It's like the cycloid. It goes like this. So we come back also. We may slide back too, especially when we do anarthas. We do aparadhas, we may slide back. So we studied, he said there are 6 types of aniṣthitā-bhajan-kriyā, 6 types of unsteady devotional service. What was the first? Utsāhamai. That's called in English PDS. Pure devotee syndrome. Utsāham. Why he's thinking? Man, I know dehinosmin yatha dehe. Pandit. Baba is dehinosmin yatha dehe. It's a simple Anushtup mitra. Anushtup meter. What do you mean by knowing this? You have become Pandit. And by the way, do you know what it means? When we do kanthastha means they are sthita, situated in our kantha, because then after that we can take it here for analysis, or we can take here for relishing. So dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantara pratis dhiras tatra na muhyati. I'm seeing my near and dear ones passing. I don't become bewildered. That's the real test, whether we understood that mantra or not. Forget about dehinosmin. The phone gets destroyed, car gets destroyed. It's one thing to quote, but to use. But these are dear Batu, the young PDS affected devotee. He thinks that no, he is Pandita. Pandita manyamanasya swasmin. He said what? Okay, it's far away. So he thinks that in me I have gotten all the sarva loka, the panditya which is appreciated by the entire loka. Manya manasya hai nahi. The feet are not on the ground. But of course there is no rasa, right? So what happens the next stage? Ghana tarala, which means sinus. Sometimes very thick, 108 rounds, sometimes not even 4 rounds. So we have to also ask questions. Sometimes we may ask a person, how many rounds you chant? Sometimes 8, sometimes 6. No, fix minimum 6. That's the sankalpa. Sometimes 1. Okay, fix minimum 1. Some sankalpa, right? Yeah. Because that sankalpa shows we are serious. But then in Ghantarala it doesn't happen. There is no count of maximum and there is no estimate of minimum also. And why this Ghantarala is also happening? Utsāhamai, what is that effect? Dunning-Kruger effect, right? Because the person hasn't read a lot and there are so many changes happening in him or her, and some kleshagni is also happening. Bhakti kleshagni, it destroys the klesha. You start feeling like I'm Superman, rising above, things are not affecting me. So basically those effects of bhakti makes the person think that I'm Superman. But then when he comes down because of lack of taste, and then lack of taste continues, it happens Ghanatarala. What was the example given? Sometimes you are able to understand Bhagavad Gita, and you may make analysis and pointers and maybe give some few classes, but other times it's like, what's going on? I'm at 1.8.34 for like 6 months. You don't feel like Prabhupada's books appear to be 20 kgs heavy. You're not able to lift it up. Why? Because enough purification is not happened, right? So we have other appendages going other way also. Kashmir seems to be a nice. Kerala story is really out. What about Krishna story now? Later. Yeah. Actually, we all are in pain in separation from Krishna. Just that we end up making our main course as these painkillers. The painkillers of sometimes we have to take, if a person is at a situation he's not budging forward, okay, fine, go play tennis. That's the painkiller. But one really understands that's a painkiller. He cannot end up just playing tennis 24 hours. One has to go deeper, understanding that the root cause is separation from Krishna. So Ghanatarala person is sinusoid. What happens after that? Because of too much sinusoid, it's like Vyuda Vikalpa. मैं शादी करूं या ना करूं, बच्चे करें या ना करें, Vyuda Vikalpa, right? क्या बोले? We read or not read, chant or not chant, just bring anything, right? Vyuda Vikalpa. Within even the devotional circle, devotional limbs also. See, we are not saying that getting into the Sankalpa Vikalpa is utterly bad. We all enter into the crossroads. Whether we have to study or not study, increase family, not increase family, buy home or not buy home, these are genuine questions. We come across it. But when it becomes too much indecisiveness and it's going in the back of mind, if I do this, maybe then bhakti will increase. If I do this, maybe then bhakti will increase. This is like the military phalanx of options. Options are thrown at you, boom, boom, and you're catching it, thinking, maybe this is nice. Oh, another option. Maybe that's. So the options are being thrown at you. Who is throwing? The mind, because mind is not steady. Why it's not steady? Buddhayo avyavasayinam bahushakhasyanatascha. Why? Because multiple sense objects are being pulling the senses, right? And the mind says, "Ye dekho, wo dekho, kya dekho?" However, when the person's mind is soaked by a little mustard seed of rasa from practicing bhakti, there's a sense of sama. Equanimity comes. And a person can pause and take decisions, whatever it will, either way, but in a very calculated manner. This is called which stage? Vyudha Vikalpa. Now we will go to the next 3 stages. Fourth stage is called Vishaya Sangara. Atha Vishaya Sangara. It says, there's a nice verse, Vishaya Vishta Chittanam Vishnava Veshah Suduratah. A person whose chitta, whose internal subtle body is completely occupied or obsessed with Vishaya. His meditation on Vishnu is very far. The example gives, Varuni Diggatam Vastu Vrajan Nendrim Kimatnuyat. So which means you are going to the east direction. How would you get the object in the west direction? When you go there, how would you go here? You go there, the object is lying there. How would you get that object? Unless there is a general theory to relativity wormhole, but that happens in sci-fi movies. I mean, we still haven't seen the wormholes. But it's not here. It's unreasonable to expect that. So now a very interesting thing happens, because Utsamai was happening, Ghanatarala is happening, Vyuda Vikalpa is happening. So this person this is very interesting. Iti bhoga eva balat swasmin abhiniveshya mam bhajane shithilayanti iti tadami tyaktva. He feels it. So now some honesty is dawning, right? He felt that he was at the top. Then he was then he thinks these bhogas balat by force are making me absorbed in them, and they are making my bhajan, my devotional service shithil. He's now, there's some senses coming. What's going on? Dharti pe, the person is landing down. What's happening? They are making my bhajan little weak. Tad ami tyaktva, I'll reject all of this and I'll do what? Nam graham kanshana kyanshak tyaktvatta api. I will take the shelter of holy name. But he is unable to do so. There's honesty, which is laudable, right? So one is like, he doesn't even know he's in ignorance. Second is he knows in the ignorance and he wants to improve but cannot do. So that's good, that's progress, right? It is said just by knowing that we are at fault or we have done some mistake or we have misgivings, half of the problem is solved because we know the problem. So he says he is unable to do their unable to give them up. And then the Bhagavatam shloka comes. Then what should be the approach? Jushamanasya tan kaman parityage apyanishvara. He वो उनका उपभोग करता है. He consumes that. He enjoys that vishaya, but knowing that's not good. I'm incapable. And maybe he prays also. Oh Krishna, I know this is not great. I should be doing your devotional service, but I'm incapable. So, this is called Vishaya Sangara. Sangara means Yudh. Sangram. Sangram means battle. So now he has really entered the battle with Vishaya. Because he knows there is a battle. Earlier, he was not able to figure out, right? He was thinking he is pure devotee. Then he was Ghana Tarala, sometimes interested, sometimes not interested. So it's like sometimes you'll see a person bilkul, like prim and proper and with nice everything. The rest of the time, it's like Metallica and Linkin Park. What happened? Sorry, I'm in the bottommost amplitude. This happens. This has happened in our lives also. Maybe it is still happening. And then Vyudha Vikalpa, he sees the other person, that fellow is joining ashram. Oh, that fellow is married. That fellow is growing the family. What should I do? That's Vyudha Vikalpa. After all this, what Mridang and Pakhavach, Maya is playing the Mridang and Pakhavach and drum on him, all the percussion instruments, he realized, gigawatt lagi. Not only watt, in Mumbai they call watt means it's pathetic state. It's not pathetic states, it's mega pathetic state. And then he enters into, starts coming and realizing that there is a battle. He feels that he should take shelter from him, but he is incapable. Why? Because Hriday Dorbal, weak. Enjoying the sense gratification or engaging in sense gratification, he is aware. That's not good. And that feeling itself will liberate. Fourth stage, which is Visaya. Srimad Bhagavatam explains this verse, which is written in commentary here. Jata Shraddho Mat Kathasu Nirvinnaha Sarva Karmasu Veda Dukkhatmakan Kaman Parityage Apyanishvara. Somehow or the other, that person has gotten Jata Shraddha. He has some faith in my Katha. Looks nice. I mean, Krishna's pastimes are nice. And he has felt all the other engagements in the world are painful. Some distaste has come. Nirvinnaha sarva karmasu. Wherever I'll go, band bajega. Ved dukkhatmakan kaman, and he knows that all the desires are dukkhatmakan. They will produce dukkha. Parantu parityage api anishvara. Ishvara means capable. Anishvara means incapable. In what? Parityage. Of what? Kaman. In the rejection of the kaman, he is not. Lecture बढ़िया है, दिमाग में भी बढ़िया है, theoretical knowledge है, but जब आता है, it's tough. And for different devotees who may be struggling in this way, there are different kamans which can bubble. For some it could be X, for some it could be Y, Z. Forget about A to Z. There's alpha, beta, gamma, delta. Just so many alphabets. Parantu, what does he do? Tato bhajeta mam pritah shraddhalu dhrida nischaya jushamanas च तान कामान दुखो दरकांश garhayan. फिर भी वो मेरी ही पूजा करता है, with love, with shraddha, with drid निश्चय, while enjoying those sense gratificatory activities, knowing that है तो they give up, but I'm not able to give it up. How many of you seen the movie Matrix? So Matrix, there is what's that? Cyrus, the person who tells about where to go. What is it? Cyrus, right? Okay, whatever is Cyrus, and Cyrus is in the Matrix, and the agent of Maya is capturing him, and Cyrus is eating something crazy thing. So I know this is all code. I am also code. This is also code. Yeah. But it tastes so nice. Now, this fellow didn't have dukkha darkasha gasha. He says, just keep me always in this Maya world called Matrix. So two Prabhus are going, and they're looking at the world and the women and the buildings around. And one Prabhu said, Prabhu, this is all illusion. He says, I know, but everything is in the right place. Did you get it? Yeah, everything is right place and looks nice. I know it's illusion, but it's so right place that let me enjoy a bit. Because that Viveka has not dawned, but still this is fine. They can do sense gratification, but by knowing, and just by that knowing, that power of knowledge will burn away the desires, will burn away the inclination towards the desire, and will produce some strength. Vishaya Sangara. After Vishaya Sangara, what happens? Or along with that, what happens? Atha Niyamakshama. So he says, Adyarabhya iyanti namani grihityani etavatyasya pranatayah karya ittameva. So, we have to look at the translation. This is a little. Niyamakshama. So, niyama akshama. Kshama means capable. Kshamatvam. Akshamatvam means not capable. So, what has happened to Vishaya Sangara? He figures out that I have some sense gratification issue and it's painful, but I'm doing. Now, what is the way to overcome that? Practicing the regulative principles devotion. So he says, I should follow now niyamas. Some niyamas. What? Aaj se main, I will take these many names. I will go to all the holy places. I will do this much dandavats to Porto Karnava Prabhu. So Raghunath Das Goswami will do 2000. I'll do 100. And if he's busy, I'll tell him, just stand there, I'll do 100. They would say that Raghunath Das Goswami, if you won't find 2000 Vaishnavas, he'll catch one and say, I don't know how much true it is, but shows that his niyamas were lines on stones. But this person's niyamas are not lines on stones. He is not capable. He has gone further by just dukkha darkansha garhayan, by realizing, oh, I'm enjoying, I'm sitting in this movie. I know it looks nice, but it's all double, triple illusion. First illusion, it is illusion. Second, it's a green screen. Third, I'm assuming that how it would be so nice if I also act in that movie. Huh? 3 types of illusion are there, but still that person is knowing. It's all illusion. It will end soon. Now he goes to practicing rules of devotional service, but he is not capable. He says, I will do that much downwards to devotees, those who have no connection with Krishna consciousness. I will not associate with them, or I will not repeat their words. Those who are doing gappa or gramya varta or gossip, I will not associate with them. But he may become very associated in the gossip also. Are you kind of familiar? Little familiar?
Yeah.
Do this. List, big list. How many did you follow? 0.5 of it. It happens in the beginning of the year, right? We take the resolutions of health. It takes only 7 days, maybe 50%, 90% of the people are checked out of their own determinations in 7 days. If it was not true, everybody would have been healthy, perhaps. But he is not able to do that. So now there is a difference between Vishaya Sangara and Niyamakshama. In Vishaya Sangara, it's a fight with Vishaya. So he's incapable to give up Vishaya. Correct? Ramcharan is dancing. I mean, that somebody forcefully showed me. Ramcharan, and who is that other guy?
NTR.
Huh? NTR is dancing. Nato. And then that person is saying, so amazing. So amazing. But then inside he's thinking, what nonsense. I should be dancing in Kirtan. But he's incapable. And then it may also happen that they may justify. Yeah, his name is Ramcharan, huh? Ramcharan.
NTR.
NTR, his full form is?
Nandamuri Tarakaratna.
Nandamuri
Tarakaratna.
Tarakaratna. Tarak means one who liberates from the material world. He's Tarakaratna. He's the jewel which liberates from the material world. So amazing. What was the name of the Mataji in that room? Okay. जो भी है उनका भी कुछ उसको भी spiritual दे दिया, but internal परमात्मा से बहुत बढ़िया, you're very smart, huh? You are able to give justification to your mistakes or justification to the sense gratification, which you also know will not help so much. It's okay if somebody wants to take painkillers because the pain is so high, but then that cannot be the main course. So in Vishaya Sangara, what has happened? There is a fight against the Vishaya and he is unable to give. And in Niyamakshama, what is there? He's unable to follow the rules. So in Vishaya Sangara, he is unable to give up the sense gratification. Niyamakshama, he's gone little beyond. So in Niyamakshama, he's right there, unable to give up. It's like how once there was a saint and some person asked him, why Maya has caught me? I mean, why she's doing she is grabbing me and making me do all the sense gratification, and I'm having suffering. That saint ran out. What happened? You know, teachers have interesting way of showing teaching so that person does not forget. There was another saint who was going in the Himalayas. It's a true story. And he came to a clearing where there's some Naga Babas. And he joined the Naga Babas, and suddenly one of the Naga Baba, he's like super duper angry. And he rushes towards this saint carrying a trident. This person is like, what happened? Everybody looked at his slippers. He figured out maybe I should not be coming with slippers. So he threw them. Then he asked the saint asked one Nagababa, why were you so angry? But just told me that to leave off his slippers. We have a way of teaching. We teach in such a way so that dobara mat bhulna. Hai ki nahi? Not again. I remember when we were in 5th grade. In India, it was common, right? Hands up. Some is like doing like this, some is doing like this, and some do like this. Whack! Piche se. I mean, at that time, corporal, we call it corporal punishment. No, corporal punishment. doing like this, and then sometimes we do like this, sometimes we do like this, then sometimes, Madam Khujli ho rahi hai. So I know the madam, her name was Elizabeth. And so we do like the whispering, sorry, Bola, say sorry. Then we'll say in an orchestra, sorry, man. Is it familiar? Yes. I think it's all the schools like this. Then like no response. Then a wave will come. Sorry, man. Then she asked the question. I can never forget that. Do you really know the meaning of sorry? What do you think? What's the meaning of sorry? I have not seen the dictionary, but I'll never forget her words. It means, and this was the answer given by one Sikh in our class. I will not tell the name because then names are out. So he said, sorry means we do not repeat it again. She said, very good, sit down. Will we be standing up? So the way she taught us, by giving reward to that person and making a stand to the entire class, I can never forget that. Which means sorry means we don't repeat it again. We may repeat newer things or do newer things, but don't repeat it. Do many mistakes as much as you can, just don't repeat one. Which means we were not serious to understand. So this Niyama Kshama guy, he was there, unable to give up what? Vishayas. Now he started to come on this side, but is unable to pick up devotional practices. Is unable to do niyama. And niyama is more important, most important. But Prabhu, bhav se jab karna chahiye. Bhav tabhi to aayega jab karenge. So right now we should become, as we say, chunky Pandays. Chunky Pandey, flop hero. Good. Anyway, I don't know if he's still alive. But Chunky Pandey means a panda. Panda means intelligence in chunks. So let's have a day organized in chunks so that we exactly know, more or less, if it is not emergency, what we gonna do, when we gonna do. Somebody grabs your hand, Nikunjanayak Prabhu, 6 a.m. No, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. what you do. We must have an answer. What do we do generally? If we don't have an answer, good luck. Mind will give you enough options. Mota mota hona chahiye, we can have broader chunks or smaller chunks. Like 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. is morning program, period. Now, sometimes morning program could be a class, sometimes morning program could be good to go to the temple, but it is morning program. However, if my friend becomes sick, then that's an emergency situation, I take care. But on a daily basis, I should know what are my chunks, isn't it? Prabhu, when do you sleep? Oh, I don't know when. 11, maybe 10, maybe 9. Is it a ranging scale? I know saints who have perfected their sleeping, waking so much, 2:20 they'll wake up anyhow in Vrndavana. And there was one saint, he would wake up at 2:20 without alarm. And then as soon as he wake up, he would do Shirshasana. You know Shirshasana, standing on this. And he was so much perfect in his meditation. He was chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. He was counting in his room. Nobody's seeing, but his disciples would open the window and observe him. And his tears are flowing in the opposite direction, right? Why opposite direction? Because he is Shirshasana. So for that time, he's chanting, counting, crying. Then he would get up, patak se, and he would go for a walk. And interestingly, see, if we have to walk like this, right? Sometimes we are tired, what we do? Ho gaya walk? We do cut short, right? He would take the longest path to get the longest advantage, to get the maximum health benefit, so that he could do his bhajan nicely. Unfailingly. His disciples sometimes would come to his room and say, he said, why? No, we want to get, why? This is not the time. Niyama, following the niyama, because when we follow the niyama, it sprinkles what? Goodness. In fact, that's the blessing of goodness. It's anyonya. We do it, goodness comes, and goodness gives us more blessing. What are the blessings? No sooner we see that there is a gap. No, first of all, we identify the gap. Rajas and tamas cannot identify the gap between our lower selves and better selves. No second blessings. No sooner the sattva observes a gap, he or she wants to bridge it. Sattva mein, rajas, tamas may see the gap, but who will do? Third, they will do it immediately. Not like after 10 days, I will do. No. And last, they do it sustainably. Which means it's not like just after 10 days I'll stop. No. Whole life. Sattva means continuous refinement. And that's what we do. We refine ourselves so well so that we can be offered by our Gurudevs to Shri Radha and Krishna. So, by understanding these stages, we are understanding how much we should strive by taking blessings, taking guidance, etc., to be chunky Pandeyas, to be having well disciplined in our lives. In this way, we go to the last stage. Last stage is Taranga Rangini. Atha Taranga Rangini. Bhaktehi Swabhava Eva Ayam Yat Tadvaditi Sarvepi Jana Arurajyanti. So he says, now what is happening? See the process. We were where? Utsahamai. Came down little on the earth, but oscillations. Asman se gira magar khajur mein atka. Have you heard that? Mujhe ghar jana hai. The person is thinking, I have to go back to the spiritual planet, but he's oscillating, and then he realized, bahut watt lag rahi hai. It's like complicated thing happening here. I should do what? I should give up the Vishaya, but he's unable to do. So he does it in an aware manner. And then slowly he starts coming to this side to do the rules of Bhakti. But he's unable to do them in a niyamit way. We all have to see. When are we finishing the rounds? Again, not naimittika way. Because sometimes say you are going to sadhu sangha and traveling, and like, when are you waking up? You don't even know. But in a daily manner, when are we finishing the rounds? Is it organized? When are we finishing our readings? Is the bhojan on proper time? Or is the bhojan like her bhojan according to the whims? Ask the body, bring it on. Chat, cash and carry thing. Chat.
Cash and carry.
Chat bhavan. हाँ 10 समोसे तो ले आओ सही छोटे ही होते हैं. One saint says, जिसका भोजन सरस उसका भजन नीरस, जिसका भोजन नीरस उसका भजन सरस. Now this doesn't mean we say no Prabhu, cheesecake तो हम नहीं खाएंगे, too much ras is there. No, whatever is offered we all eat it, but then there is a decorum in eating it, which means at a particular time and not having the vishesh agraha of our tongue. Because what is that verse? First verse. Udapa vacho vegam, manasa krodha vegam, jivvo vegam, udara upastha vegam. Hanumat Presham Maharaj says straight line. Trouble here, trouble there. Trouble here, which means stomach will be trouble generally, and that's the main causes of toxins in our body. All diseases originate from here because the food is not being digested, metabolism is not proper. And then if that's not proper, that will put pressure and it will bring sensual thoughts. Straight line. So bhojan is important in that, and it's a part of a bigger package of regulating the life. So slowly and slowly persons regulates the life. He becomes a good bhakta, but then something comes. What comes? Prabhu ji, aap jaisa to koi nahi. Bhakti hai swabhav. It's the nature of bhakti. Ki through this, everybody else is anurajyanti. Everybody starts getting attracted towards you. I mean, we start getting good qualities, become softer, and people understand he's kind, she is kind, like that. And because people are getting attached to it, we get mal also. You know the mal? Prestige, money, things, and sometimes, very good, bring it on. Even though we don't need it. If we don't need it, why bring it on? Something to think about. It's not our property. Bhakti Devi is bringing it, but a conscientious bhakta will say, I don't need it. The person who is not conscientious and chalu bhakta, he always rushes after pratishtha. And the pratishtha always runs after a pure devotee. And a pure devotee always rushes away from pratishtha. So it is said, pratishtha nari sada kuhari. She never gets wedded only. The one who is rushing after pratishtha, she doesn't want to marry. And she rushes after pure devotee, he doesn't want to marry pratishtha. So she's always unwedded. So it is said here, Bhaktyutthasu vibhutishu labha puja pratishtadishu. Even if we don't get, we get labha. Labha means some physical objects. Puja, worship, and pratishtha is great. Even if we don't get physical objects, we can survive nicely with a tummy when we get pratishtha. There was a saint in Vrndavana, somewhere else. It's a true story. And he would be very stout, but he would not be eating anything. Somebody asked him, how are you so stout? He said, if you look at the line of people giving me respect, that keeps me alive. Think about it actually. Many of the people, if there is no pratishtha, they will just die. They need something, but approval, appreciation, and acknowledgement. We all need it, but then we have to temper the dose. We should not be dependent on it, right? Hence, we should be also comfortable living alone in the crowd. It's only Krishna. Dega to dega, nahi dega, nahi dega. Aao to welcome, nahi aao to bhid kam. Aao to I'll serve, nahi to I'm happy here. This attitude is not the attitude of pride, but is the attitude which our acharyas have told. In the purport to that episode with Draupadi and Bhagavatam, Prabhupada's right, everybody of us have to fly our own planes. Because it's a jet plane without a, what is that, second person? Hangman. Hangman? They call it? Hangman? Somebody who has.
I don't know.
There is a wingman. Without the wingman. You know how I know this word? Thanks to the flight. Some flight, I'm sitting and here action movie going on, here action movie going on, here action movie. And there is, I mean, I cannot hear it, but then you can't do like this also. So anyway, I was eating food and some Prabhu was singing, or some Mataji singing, I don't know. Then there were subtitles. I'm just saying, okay, let's see what's going on. There's a fighter planes going on, and apparently that was Top Gun, something, and Maverick or something. It's quite interesting how much effort they put. Like you have to go and attack, and then some Afghan attack. So then from there, whatever brief I looked at, I think it was quite educative thing for me. And I was thinking, baap re, ye log itna prayas karte hain. How much we should be doing for preaching and bhajan. So like, and they will show it in such a stardom manner, right? Okay, 2.29 seconds, you have to drop the bomb, and then you have to climb like this, and then drop like this, and then hit the target. I was thinking, what are we doing? They struggle so much, plan so much, we should be doing it. Because ours is a much more worthy, much more loftier goal. So the effort should be also much more organized, much more lofty, and much more deeper, isn't it? So through that I came to know wingman. But in the plane of life, there is no wingman. There is no seat. We have to ride our own planes. But there are other planes around also we can hide. Chanting is okay? Okay, good. Different planes are going, so we can take cockpit and prasadam khaya, nahi khaya. Let me send you. Support is there, but the activity I have to do. I have to take my decisions. I have to be responsible for my decisions. You can't say to your spouse, okay, chanting, Why don't you do 25? I'll do 9. No, 7. It doesn't work like that. So this person has started getting la puja pratishtha dishu and valli valitasu upashakhasu tarangeshu eva acharantya asya ranga iti tarangini. So just like valli valitasu, which means just like you have the different weeds. I think it's giving the example of weeds. So basically these are the, you can say these are the weeds which are growing when the bhakti you are performing. Now you were there struggling. First you were there up and you were oscillating, then shaking up. Then you went there and figured out you're fighting but are unable to give up. You came on this side and you are unable to follow the rules. Now you have started following the rules. People know Prabhuji hai, Prabhuji. Somebody says that just stick around in ISKCON, you will become the senior. Because somebody will be the new person, right? So they will give you a bhav. So these are all different weeds. And these are like the different waves in the ocean of bhakti. Tarang. Huh? And in that person starts becoming Ranga, or he starts playing in those Taranga, forgetting that the ocean is deeper. That is why it is called Taranga Rangini. So if he forgets Bhakti, he starts getting the Mal and he becomes Mala Mal. He starts enjoying that Mal only. But Prabhu, you were supposed to chant. Now we have to preach. And for preaching, we should have these facilities. But Baba, are you only riding on the facilities or preaching or serving? See, it's very, very deep. And hence, you have to always remain in guidance of devotees and contemplative. What are we doing? These are Krishna's objects. Are we utilizing them for service or are we sitting on them and eating them up? This is Taranga Rangini. So in this way, these 6 stages we end here, and it's important that we study about this, know about this, at least discuss about it, so we know these things happen and we are hence able to recognize that oh, it has happened in our lives. And then we are also motivated to read what goes beyond. Because if that is happening in our life, maybe the other things which will come in the future will also happen in my life, and they are very hopeful. Okay? Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Last 10 minutes are there. We can take questions, comments.
This is Bhaktivedanta Thakur's book.
This is Vishwanath Chakravartī Thakur's book, Mādhurya Kādambinī. Must read for devotees. Must read. Very smart, very small book. And very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Maybe we will soon translate this into Hindi also.
It's in English.
It's in Bhanu Swami Maharaja has done English translation, and then we will use that and re-editings and things like that, translate into Hindi also, because it's must grantha, must to read.
Mādhurya Kādambinī.
Huh? Mādhurya Kādambinī. Maybe you'll have it here. No? Amazon Kindle is there. Thank you. More comments?
Thank you, Bruce. I think this is very helpful. I have seen all the stages. Actually, I am still seeing them. I can feel that I have goals in the beginning of the year. I had goal to sleep by 8:45 every day, but I sleep by 10:45, sometimes 11:45. So
That's because you're doing service.
Yeah. And devotees encourage me, puja la pratishtha. I mean, I'm just on the waves.
Yeah, this identification is good.
Yeah. So thank you so much. I can identify with it.
Yeah.
And yes, to
See, all of us have 24 hours. And service 1 day, 2 day in a week is okay if it is taking us to 11, 10, 45, 11, 45. Or let me speak about myself. It's been 10 days I've been US, and many days it's late nighters. We are trying to wake up at the same time, but then the day, I don't know when we get sleep sometimes, right? Because sleep is less. But not emergency manner. If it is daily manner, like you're situated in your daily surroundings, then why more than few days a week we go late nighters? That's what Lord Prabhupada taught us, right? The body should should get set up in such a way. One saint was telling that if you don't eat at the time you're supposed to eat, body will start showing signs. You want food? And when there's a time of sleep, you're automatically going like tune off mode. And quickly you enter into deep sleep, and quickly you're out of deep sleep, and the body will wake you up because the stomach will say, Bhaiya, mera kaam start ho, I have to excrete it out. Amazing, right? But phone screens or unnatural lighting or I mean place also, right? In Seattle, 10 o'clock there is sunlight, and 4 o'clock again the roshni happens. So it's a 6 hours thing. So sometimes it's a place also has its thing, but we can try as much as possible to situate ourselves. And identifying that there is a lacuna solves half of the problem, because we feel the need. Thank you for sharing.
Hare Krishna, I did not get that example that the person came to a saintly person telling that, oh, why is Maya troubling me? And the person just ran away.
Oh, I think we missed that. I think we didn't complete. We went into some tragedy. Very good. You caught it. So the person ran away and they followed. The person went and embraced a tree. And then he was screaming, "Ped mujhe chhod do, tree just leave me, tree just leave me." That was a way of teaching. It's not Maya who has caught you. You have caught Maya. The saint was Ashtavakra. And the question was asked by Janak Maharaj. So good you caught, because when I completed Narshan, I was thinking I forgot something, but let's go ahead. So this person has actually caught the sense gratification. And sometimes in the beginning stages, there's an illusion. मैं थोड़ी कुछ कर रहा हूँ. Maya is beating me. Baba, you are in the den of Maya, so what should you do? That's why we come as much as possible in devotees association. We'll never be wrong. Does that help you? So this was even the initial stages of Niyamakshama. He's not able to do because he is not leaving the Maya. Thank you. Prahlad, you said, Swardeepji, anything?
Sometimes I feel I am a mixture of all these 16. Like sometimes this happens, sometimes that happens. So yeah, and one question about this thing, like, so there are two different types of things that are taking us away from bhakti. Sometimes it is the inner problems that we have, these inner desires, this inner anarthas, these bad qualities, like the lavadveshu kind of things we have. And there is this distraction of Maya also, that when we try to go up, then Maya tries to test us and again pull us down. These two factors. So, like, how to identify which one is what? Like,
yeah, sometimes it will be too hard to do analysis because it will lead to paralysis. Because actually, it is Maya only which is situated. Krishna says, "Asya adhishthanam mana buddhi indriya." The lust is seated in all the strategic points of the body, eyes also, in mind also, and things like that. Yes, we can do the identification, but then we also take part in the positive thing, which is the medicine. Maya nasi baro lagi, harinama mahamantra lao. So we take shelter of positive things, which is and mainly the 5 limbs: reading Bhagavatam, associating with devotees, chanting Hare Krishna, worshipping deities, and staying in Dham. Staying in Dham means staying near temple or spending time in temple also. These 5 limbs can quickly extricate ourselves or help us extricate ourselves from the embarrassing situation we have found ourselves in. So not only just, where was that lusty thought coming from? inside, outside.
Mm.
We don't want to play tennis, ping pong like that, right? It's fine, we identify, but then we move and take care of the process, participate in the process, right? If the malaria happened, कौन से मच्छर ने काटा? अब वो काट के तो चला गया, अब दवाई देनी है, पेनिस, whatever, जो भी है, चिंचोना, बार्क. Does that help, Prabhu? Good night, Prabhu.
Thanks for beautifully explaining all this. I could also see few of these stages. The others I couldn't see. Maybe I'll observe them again. So, point is, like once you said in Taranga Rangini, now the person goes on to fame.
You get latches onto.
Yeah. So I feel like now he finished with the gross. Now he starts with again with the subtle. Again start from Vishaya Sagar. Again, this is Sangha. This is.
But the difference is that there he's struggling. Here at least his process, doing process of bhakti. So yeah, you're right. He will just go back again.
Yeah.
Because the subtle may force him to do the gross thing again. That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Because pratishtha, it's like adrenaline, getting kick. Somebody takes away adrenaline, then you need adrenaline for somewhere else. That could be gross sense. It's a very good point.
Yeah, so, but
If anybody has,
there are 3 devotees online. So
anybody
Hare
has
Krishna. Dandavat Pranam. Prabhu, I wanted to ask a question from Śrīla Viśwanātha Cakravartī Thakur's commentary on the Bhagavatam first canto. So there's a verse he has composed which says Satam Kripa Mahat Seva Shraddha Guru the 14 stages of bhakti.
Yeah.
And then in that verse he also says that we need to plan our devotional life before we begin. But we see that bhakti is causeless and it is provided by the mercy of Krishna. So how do we understand what Śrīla Viśwanātha Cakravartī Thakur is mentioning here about planning, especially when we have all of these anarthas and different stages, unsteadiness, etc.?
Yeah. Planning means using our free will to use whatever intelligence and mental faculties given to us to utilize them, right? That's where kripa and the endeavor go hand to hand. We indeed know bhakti is crossless, and unless Krishna blesses or Radharani blesses, we won't go forward. But they would sure bless us if they see the endeavor. So we don't have to stop our endeavor, and planning means that. At least the first endeavor ki I must situate myself in Mahat Sangha. I must situate myself in a place where they follow the niyamas. At least this I can do, this sankalpa I can do. Planning means having this sankalpa. Because bhakti, plant of bhakti, if there is no sankalpa, then what is bhakti? It's just like haphazard, right? Sankalpa vihin bhakti is not good. How many rounds you chant? 2, 3, maybe sometime 4, maybe 0. No. So planning means taking this sankalpa. As Vaisheshika Maharaj says, don't greet the dawn without a map. Chunky Pandey, I should know what I am doing. This is the planning, right? Does that help you?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
What's your name, Prabhu?
Vishal.
Vishal, Prabhu. Okay. Any more reflections, questions on mine?
Just to build on his point, I was just thinking that Prabhu, that sankalpa actually really depends on emotion, right? And I mean, it's essentially the quality of determination actually is a function of how emotionally you're vested in the process, and how well you are sort of well read and how much knowledge you have, right? Is there more to it that I'm sort of missing here?
Well, how much knowledge you have, it indeed helps, but that's not the marker. Because sometimes one can just become a knowledge buff. So thinking that more knowledge will help one take sankalpa to really go deeper in devotional service may not be true. So then what to do? I think then it's an anyonya ashraya, in the sense that whatever is the swecha, whatever we get the knowledge and things like that, finding the essence of it, we make some determination towards pure devotional service. And with that attitude, we get blessings. So I'm not saying we don't read or we don't hear. We read and hear, but then kind of extracting the essence, we make a sankalpa. And then when the blessings we receive, because we have taken a sankalpa, we are letting ourselves out. Okay, I need mercy. This is what I can do best at my situation. So when you grab that mercy, then sankalpa becomes even more. So what is catapulting the sankalpa? Well, it's actually kripa. And the very fact you made the first bootstrapping, they call it bootstrapping, you bootstrapped your sankalpa, might as well be coming from devotees association, not by knowledge. Later we get knowledge to cushion it, so we have to very keep in mind that bhakti is not a product of knowledge. Bhakti is not a product of tapa. We should not plan our devotional lives in such a way that I would become so and so scholar, I would become so and so speaker, I would become so and so kirtani, I would become so and so, I would become so and so. We have to become dasanu das, serve devotees in a very humble way. And yes, we express what is our inclination to do services, and our mentors and spiritual masters then say, okay, your inclination is this, they will dole out the service, that's it. Service for service sake. Ashish Prabhu, does that help you?
Yes.
Thank you for a very, very astute realization. Any more? One more devotee was there, you see.
Lokbandhu Ram Prabhu.
Lokbandhu Ram Prabhu, you want to share something?
Damana Pranam Prabhu, thank you very much for the class. Yeah, you provided so many examples. I'm trying to just come to grips with all the information about the process that you were speaking on, and I guess just my reflection. I appreciate like how in some way in your description of these processes, you're able to kind of like give like sort of like a mechanical or physical analogy to the idea, which is something I know Chaitanya Charan, you may have seen him use this this kind of teaching technique. So that's my reflection, probably. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. He is a fantastic teacher. I can just learn from him. Okay, we end here. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंतकोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय, विश्वनाथ ठाकुर पाद की, माधुर्य कदम्बिनी ग्रंथ की जय, गो प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि। जय हरि जय।